Hi everyone, and welcome to Heal Endometriosis Naturally with WendyKLaidlaw. Wendy has spent the last 2 years helping women with various stages of endometriosis to heal naturally after putting her condition into remission. After her own healing success from stage 4 endometriosis and adenomyosis, she's inspired to heal others, and her goal is to help some of the 175 million women know that there is another way other than painkillers, drugs, or surgery. This is the place to be for real talk with real people for real results, so you can learn how to heal your endometriosis naturally. Please note that the opinions expressed in this program may represent options, but are not a substitute for proper medical care. Before starting any new healthcare program, we recommend you consult with a health professional.
Hey everyone, it's WendyKLaidlaw here, and as always, I hope that this message finds you well. Now, you know I get super excited when I'm getting some of my alumni to come and share their stories. I do have to remind you all that it takes great courage and confidence for each and every one of them to want to come and share their story. Not everyone wants to do that, and I respect that. But for those that do, it gives me goosebumps, it gives me shivers. It's just lovely to hear, because I remember each and every one of them when they started, and of course where they are now. So it's always a joy to be able to share their journey, or the beginning of their journey, so to speak, with you now. So I'm going to be talking to Esra. She's from Dubai. She's originally from Turkey. So not only has she gone through this program and learned all this information and implemented it and applied it and seen these fantastic changes in her body, but this isn't her first language. So again, extra credit and kudos to these amazing women that come through from all of, in Europe and other places around the world, that English isn't their first language. Now, before you hear from Esra herself, I always kind of like to kind of give you a rough idea of what was going on inside her body before she actually started with me. So I'm just going to read out some of the symptoms that she was suffering from before she started. Now, she was an HR manager before COVID. Unfortunately, she was laid off, but she, as I say, is had a number of different symptoms when she started. Ovulation pain from day 14 plus. She had breast pain, lower back pain, bladder pressure, frequent urination, painful intercourse, poor sleep, chronic fatigue, bloating, ovarian cysts. She would have very dry eyes and mouth, stiff body, burping, lump in her throat, burning sensation in her abdomen and chest areas. She was seeing undigested food in her stool. So she was in a lot of pain at menstruation time, and her first day of her period was normally about pain 7. And then obviously ovulation pain as well, very sensitive to light and sound. But she had a whole number of different issues, which I'm not going to read out the full details, but her body was showing up all these signs and requiring attention. To her credit, she'd already started to try and address different things in different ways herself, and she'd done a great job. She'd started to see a naturopath and things as well. There were some elements of that that I suggested that she stop and change, because that tends to be the way with functional medicine doctors, naturopaths, nutritionists, dietitians, is they don't fully understand the high degree of sensitivity of women with endometriosis. So there were some things we had to change there. But again, she'd read my book and she was already starting to make some changes. And I love, again, if you've not read my book, about 80% of women get what they need from my book alone. And then when you don't get what you need from the book, that's when you do reach out and ask for that more specialist support. Fortunately, she hadn't had surgeries yet. She'd only recently been kind of diagnosed. Her doctor was encouraging her to have surgery, as obviously that's what they do. That's what they're trained to do. So she was able to avoid that, which is amazing. She had very low energy and got tired easily. She was stiff body, didn't sleep well during the night, and was always exhausted and tired. So as I say, by the time she finished the program, the situation was very different. Her ferritin levels had increased from up to 52 from a 25, which had always had very low ferritin levels before. She had an autoimmune disease called Sjögren syndrome, which again healed itself. Her lump in her throat had disappeared and only showed up very infrequently. Her sleep was deeper and longer. Her nerves were stronger. Her periods were lighter and shorter. And her cysts and fibroids, although they haven't got any bigger, they have seen some movement there. So her skin has improved, her nails have improved, digestion has improved, candida, all these different things that are kind of covered in the program. But most importantly, I think what I really do pride our programs on is the emotional element, because we are emotional beings. We are molecules of emotion. Everything is interconnected. And I think what can sometimes happen with some women, and I know this happened on my journey, is they're shamed into feeling that there's somehow some conscious control over what's happening in their body. Sometimes a lot of the emotional stress can come from past trauma, or small t trauma, large t trauma, incident situations, trials, tribulations, things that may have happened in childhood that are stored deeply in the subconscious. And then we, as a result of that, we take on certain strategies and ways of being. So what Esra talks about here is that she doesn't suppress her feelings anymore. She journals her feelings out and she feels a lot lighter. She accepts all of her feelings, even the unpleasant ones. She knows how to deal with unknown situations. She's less anxious or worried. She can sit with uncomfortable feelings and wait for them to pass. She's fully connected now to her inner voice and trusts her inner voice, her inner wisdom that she didn't have before. She wasn't conscious of to connect to before, but she really understands that the power of the emotional side. She has her voice now. She has her seat at the table of life. All these different things. She knows how to handle toxic people, avoid toxic people, how to put in boundaries, how to feel less overwhelmed, and really how to connect to herself in nature and all these different things. Now, I could go on and on and on, but I think it's probably best if you hear it from Esra herself. Now, the idea, as I say, of sharing this with you is wherever you are on this endometriosis journey, if you're healing and wanting to do so naturally, it takes at least 6 to 12 months. So again, please do be, mindful of that and be very patient with yourself wherever you are in the journey. Normally, if you've adapted the produce and the products and the property, they're the easy parts. I say easy in inverted commas. And I can always help women go down deeper on that, on a deeper level and understanding, because there's normally some nuances and some elements there. Me and my coaches can, address those things, but it's the emotional component that is really powerful to addressing the cortisol levels, which cortisol steals their progestin, and how that all of that infects increased estrogen, which might all be going on at a deeper level before your level of, unaware of your level of consciousness. So enjoy this interview. As I say, if you have enjoyed this, please do let us know, and so we can pass this on to Esra. I know that it was her dream when she started this program to come onto this podcast, so it's wonderful that she's done so. And if you're listening to this, then I hope that someday that you'll be on here too, sharing your success story. But until then, as always, to your health and keep you number one. Hello, how are you?
I'm good. How about you?
I'm very well. You're looking fantastic.
Thank you. I miss you.
I miss you too. So lovely to see you, especially you're looking so well. You look beautiful.
Yeah, for today specifically.
Exactly. Well, you just got a lovely aura about you as well. Lovely energy. It's so nice to catch up again.
Yeah, I'd love to keep that energy all the time. Sometimes goes down. I have to accept, but I know now how to raise up again.
Yeah, well, that's it. I think it's accepting that we're human beings and we're like nature. We're like the sea. We're like the weather. We go through little ups and downs, and they're not as severe and they're not as high, not as low. It's just, we're just moving along with the river of life now, aren't we?
Yes, I know that now through the program.
Yeah, exactly. And it's hard though, isn't it, when when we start this, because we're so judgmental and so critical of ourselves.
And you want really always be on that high level, that is the dream, but that's not the reality. So
it's not reality. It's Hollywood, it's fairy tales, it's fantasy and folklore. And that's what causes a lot of the distress, I think, isn't it? Because we're kind of trying to be, and that phrase trying to be, when we just are.
Yeah.
And it's so less exhausting than trying to be this other person.
Exactly.
Well, thank you so much for coming on and agreeing to share. My team had just shared with me your lovely book review, so thank you so much for doing that.
You are welcome. I mean, everything. I mean, I'd love to, I will write a review on your journal also, because I am on the third one.
Oh, good.
Everything, I mean, you touched. I really, truly believe that there is some goodness and beauty in it. And I love all of them. And if I can help to, the other people to reach these resources, I would be, so happy.
Oh, well, you give me goosebumps around my arms. Thank you so much. Because that's it. I think sometimes I almost feel emotional now. Sometimes this pathway is, don't know where my emotions come from.
Yes.
chooses you. This is so much bigger than me. This is not about me. And it's about, I don't know where all this emotions come from.
No, I mean, I feel the same. I will never ever, forget about this journey with you. It touched all my cells. And just 2 days ago, I was feeling quite down and down, I'm hearing your voices, the words you are telling us all through this, the 6 months. And then I feel, and I talk and I journal, I'm saying, no, that's fine. I mean, I got this, but I love remembering those words, those, the video calls, everything. And seeing all the other testimonials, you change your life, but you touch so many other people's life, which is incredible. And this is like a snowball effect. And you are changing me, helping me to change. And I can help to change, starting with my family, or maybe hopefully with other people. You are doing something amazing. And I really admire you fully.
Well, thank you so much for supporting me, because I think I think all of us, the type of women that we are, we're naturally quite introverted and we're quite shy, some parts of us. So we're having to put ourselves out in different ways for the greater good. And it's so worth it to be it's such an honor to be part of your journey. And this is just the beginning. And that's what's so beautiful. And this is where I have abject faith, because I've seen it happen so many times. And I always have to keep saying to myself, look at me, look where I came from. I was so
That's why talking to you, watching you is for me, it is really recharging me. And then saying, look, she is there. Yeah. You can be there also. Just believe, just have this faith. But really amazing. I really appreciate everything you do. So
thank you so much. Well, thank you for coming on and sharing. I'm going to be sharing about your experience of the EndoBoss Academy, because again, it's a very special program for me. And I think what a lot of women don't realize is I literally go through, although I'm not as actively in the one-to-ones anymore, I actively, physically, spiritually, metaphorically, everything, emotionally go through each stage that you will go through, because I've made it my mission never to forget, because it's a journey, isn't it? You start this journey and you're literally stepping out on faith over this abyss, over this ravine, going, oh God, please let there be a path go underneath my foot. Please just give me the strength to keep going. Please make this be something. So what was it about the program that kind of drew you to it in the first place?
It is, discover, I would say, the inner voice, the inner wisdom, but I didn't aware of that. I have that inner voice. When I diagnosed with this endometriosis. The first 2 days I was devastated. I didn't know because the doctor really scared me with the operation. It can, the cyst can burst and do this, do that. So it was like terrible 2 days. And then something just came here and said there should be other ways to try. And it just came, the idea came. And in the past, I was sometimes aware of this inner voice, but never felt that strong. And then I Googled, and then I found your book. I ordered immediately. It came, and I read it. And one night, it came actually in the evening, like 7 p.m. So I started, and I couldn't, stop. And the what was really pulled me in. All the things, all the experience, the information come through from a real life experience, and how you put it, it was like a real story. You've gone through everything, the operations, the hormone therapy, and you mentioned everything in the book, what worked, what didn't work, and how it works. So it was, and I was really feeling lost, and I was feeling, I didn't know what to do. I didn't want to go for operation, but I didn't know what else I can do. Yeah. So the book really gave me the inspired, the encouragement. And I really remember the day I wrote, and then I just said, okay, I will do this. I can do this. And from the first day reading the book, I said, why not? If Wendy did it, if other people did it. Yeah. And then I, after reading, and we were about to travel to Turkey for summer, I just read the book. The next day we fly. And the next day when we were in my mother's house, I emailed to the support because I was desperately what supplements I can use. That was the first thing I was, thinking, because I already started the diet. And the next day, because obviously there's a time difference with UK, next day I received a reply from the support, from the Christina, and I couldn't hold my tears. I started to cry because I said, okay, this is real. This is really, there is a person there who wrote this book, and they have this support function, and they are replying me with the nice, very warming, the very personal, not a copy-paste email, answering my, queries, the questions. And then she mentioned, I was also asked about this EndoBoss Academy, and she said, there is not opening right now, but you can join our 21 days challenge, but it will start in September. So it was July time. So I thought, I wish I was able to start next day, but then I told myself, okay, I have something to wait for, and I will do now what the book says. So the stories just started like this, and it was so, I found, when I look at it, it was a magical, it just, that inner voice brought me to your program. And then everything, the 21 days challenge, the embracing emotions, and then the advanced, and every day I just said, I'm so grateful. I was really pulled in, because otherwise, if I didn't search, if I just, what the doctor told me, I was in the operation within a week, because she told me that within a week, this is urgent. And now, the almost 8-9 months gone, I didn't need to take the operation. Yeah, this is the story.
Oh, well, I think it's so lovely hearing you talk like that. And it's so interesting picking out certain elements that you said, like, there has to be another way, because that was the voice that came up for me. I kept saying, there has to be another way. There has to be another way. Like, medical field's only been around for 100 years. What did women do before? So I think that's so interesting hearing you say that. And then the fact that the book spoke to you, talked to you, you related to it, because I've noticed recently on Amazon, there's all these other books have sprung up for endometriosis, written by doctors, written by men. How can you possibly understand a condition unless you've had it and then put it into remission?
I mean, for me, that was really key. And during the program also, because when you say something, you will, when you say to me, okay, this will pass, or, this is normal, this can happen. But then I trust you because I know you've gone through. But when a doc, and I'm a kind of a person, I question a lot, I have lots of questions. You know me from the group. And
you're a woman after my own heart. That's why I set everything up.
And then they say, they answer, but then I don't believe, I always question. I have that doubt. But whatever you say, I felt always, the trust there. And also, how we started the conversation, I can feel it when I, talk to Max, and even with the Christina from the emails, I feel that, the care and you've gone through, it. So that communication, you feel it, and feeling that gives you the belief, gives you the faith, because otherwise somebody is telling you, okay, don't go for operation, but the other one is telling me, go for the operation, and they're scared me. So which one to believe? Then you choose the one you can, to have that, I don't know how to describe it betterly, but there is a genuine and real, the feedback, the communication. But for me, you've gone through from where to where.
Yeah.
This is, for me, it is enough to believe in this journey.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think what you touch on as well is like, we all care. Like, I know every single woman that comes through all of my programs, I go through the journey. We have like a 7-minute meeting every morning, and we jump on Zoom, and we are connected to you because we're running alongside you. But I think what you touched on there is, whilst you trust the reassurance, because it's a scary journey. And if you've had a condition for 5, 10, 15, 20 years plus, and suddenly this woman from Scotland's saying you can do this, it's natural for you to have wobbles and worries and wiggles every now and again, where you're just kind of like, will this happen? So the support is key. But ultimately, I think, as I say, you touched on, what I see my job, if you like, is to help you trust yourself. And that, yeah. Whereas at the beginning, that voice said there had to be another way, and you trusted that. My aim, my goal, I see now, is to help you all step into that and fully embrace that power of that inner voice, that wisdom, and not make it in a weird, wacky and woo-woo type thing. Because there's a lot of people that are a bit woo-woo, and that's fine. They can be woo-woo. I'm not woo-woo, but I do really get that there's an inner wisdom as women. Women do have that wisdom. And I think even going back to the 1600s, when women were burnt at the stake for being witches in America and the UK, it's a shame a lot of women have disowned that inner wisdom. And it's lovely to hear you touch on that. So our support is designed to kind of envelope you and hug you and say, we totally believe in you, but ultimately is to get you to believe in yourself.
And also, it's very important, Wendy. I mean, obviously, this journey with the, let's say, started with the 21 days challenge, and then the emotion embarrassing for 5 weeks, and then 6. But then there's the end. So, I was feeling so good throughout the program, because every week you support us, you give us these positive statements. But then I was always curious, okay, but when it's ended, will I able to carry this with me? And this is then that, the inner voice and inner wisdom comes so important, because you put all the seeds, and we kind of grow them together also. They were Absolutely. Not just seeds. Yeah. And now, I see, this little green leaves around on the soil, but I want to grow more, and I have to do this alone. But I feel the power in me now, and I know, again, you always tell us you will fell off from the train sometimes. Yes, I will. But then I know how to get in back. And this is, for me, I think the best thing I have ever, gained through the program, because I'm kind of a person, I can easily express my feelings. I can, point out the problem. I can put on the table. So I didn't have difficulty for those, but I always needed a close friend, or somebody will tell me, okay, you can do this. I was kind of always in that route. But now journaling changed my life, I would say, tremendously. Now I have me, and I realized that I am able to to kind of put myself up. Even if I fell down, I can just pull me up. But these are all I didn't know that we can learn these skills, but throughout the program, this came into me, and I feel now, again, you were just saying us, there will be waves, there will be always waves, but then you learn how to surf with these waves, and now I feel strong enough to, to surf in, and this is this is huge. This is not just for endometriosis. This is for life. Yeah. And this is make me really, grateful to be part of this program and learn this together with you.
Yeah. Well, I love that analogy that you've just quoted. And I think that's it. I actually, when you were talking there, I could see you in your wetsuit jumping on top of the board and surfing the waves but that's it. And nobody teaches us this, do they? And I think what we learn is, and again, you touched on, at the end of the program, you're on your own. You're not going to be on your own anymore because you have yourself. And I'm looking at other ways of supporting you all thereafter, but in a way that's empowering. But you have and even just you saying that, you have yourself now. You didn't know you had yourself before. And I think I heard a lovely phrase in a song the other day, which was, I was looking for me in you. And I thought, oh, that's quite powerful. We can go externally to try and, in a partner, or in a parent, or in a friend, to say, oh, what do you think? What do you think? How am I? What should I do? And actually, it's very discombobulating to parts of us because of our high degree of intuition and sensitivity and attunement to other people, but not with ourselves. So that's what we learn, that actually perhaps what's been projected onto us growing up by maybe not so nice people, toxic people, we learn to, cut away their threads and their sticky goo, pass it back to them, and then actually look at ourselves to say, oh, actually, we can get that reassurance from parts of ourselves rather than chastise ourselves into misery, and try and pull ourselves and then have to go externally for it. And I think that's where I really saw huge growth in you. It was beautiful, month on month when we would speak, really feel, as you say, you're wonderfully strong anyway. You had that spirit. It was just allowing you to have faith and step more into the strength of that spirit. I think at the very beginning, I remember you having a lot of things around your throat.
And I didn't know. I was just thinking, what is this? Why this is happening? And I don't have it anymore.
Yeah, so exciting. Isn't it?
Yeah, I think that is really changed with the journaling. Wendy, I feel this is another big thing I have, the gain. I was putting lots of feelings. I feel a lot and I keeping this feeling quite in me in here, because not always you can tell the people, or even sometimes you tell the other person doesn't understand and you keep in, and there is lots of expressing the feelings, and with the journaling I had to able to put all this, whatever it is, if it's a thought, fear, anger, or guilt, or dream, the passion, or the excitement. So it all goes in the book. Yeah. And then it just stays, I feel, in my heart lighter, because I'm able to, the kind of, whatever it is, I have a kind of a partner. I can talk everything like however thinking. So I don't need to be change it, or, the trying to put in a nice words or anything. So this is, I think, gives the power and the strength for everything. So journaling, I can talk hours and hours about it, and it is it's so effective for this, the mental relaxation.
Mental, emotional, and spiritual. And then of course what comes on the back of that is the physical. And this is why it's the journey, because the medical field, are amazing in many things, but they go straight for the physical rather than actually trying to see what's underneath and what's caused. Imagine if you went to the doctor for your throat. Oh my goodness, I would hate to think, what on earth, what road you'd be put on. And again, I remember my journey wrapping scarves very tightly around my throat, and I had constant sore throats, and it was because I had this rage at the back of my throat that, I was trying to hold down. And again, society doesn't like the words rage or fury or upset or anger, but actually, yes, of course, you shouldn't put them out to other people, but you're allowed to feel them. You're allowed to, because these feelings, these emotions are messengers. And that's where the journaling is so fantastic, because again, as making sure you keep it super secret and safe and locked away and don't leave it out for people to read, and nobody should be reading your journal. It allows you that free space to go, and they really annoyed me, and that man in the shop, he was so rude, and just allow you to kind of process rather than it stays stuck in our body. And as you say, you're beautifully sensitive, and that sensitivity is your strength and will become your superpower. But when we're constantly fighting against it and we're repelling it and we're rejecting it, it's exhausting and draining. And our nervous system then competes with our immune system. And then our immune system can't go in and mop up endometrial deposits and clean up the body and reduce cysts and all. They can't do all that when our nervous system is like that. So it really is a journey to unpick. It almost seems, I think, in the 21-day challenge, you did awesome on that. But that really was putting in the foundations of journaling and meditation. And I know everyone starts going, oh, come on, Wendy, how on earth is that going to help my endometriosis? You know?
Yeah, I mean, the point you touched, I just want to, to emphasize again. I mean, for me, accepting all the emotions was another big development, because I was always wanted, I love positive people. I love the positive energy. And I was like, always wanted to be that state. Yeah. But then I feel, I feel that anger, I feel that guilt or the rage or resentment sometimes. And when I felt at those times, I was, feeling myself bad, feeling like that, because I don't want to feel angry. I just want to always be, the peaceful person. But then when you taught us, you are human, you will have those feelings. And the most important thing, what you will do with those feelings when that feeling comes. Now I am able to sit with it, and I'm not rejecting it. I'm not just saying I'm a horrible person because I'm so angry right now. There is the reasons I feel those feelings. And then I'm trying to find stuff, okay, what triggered me? What caused? What is the behind it? And then I'm trying to solve that, what was in behind. Because when I solve that one, then obviously you will have these feelings less and less, but it will be there always. And accepting that, it's really changed, tremendously my looking, these myself also, because you feel sad or, the angry, and then you feel angry to yourself because feeling angry. And then, that emotion is really eating you up. And then you have kind of, okay, and then you say, okay, I am no energy, I have no power to deal with it. But now the things is really different. The acceptance and to just allow yourself be with that feeling. And I'm now, for me, another thing I'm so grateful now. What I learned is I'm passing to my children, because my younger one, 7-year-old daughter, she has some anger moments, and I was also getting angry with her when she has these tantrums. I was saying, not again, please, why, what is this now? But now I am telling myself, right now, she feels this, that she can't change her feeling, but I can help her how to, to deal with that feeling. It's incredible, really.
Oh, it's so lovely to hear that, because you're breaking the ancestral cycle of how people dealt with emotions before. Generation after generation, because everything that we learned, like how you were saying, I wanted to be this perfect, quiet person, never have all these extreme feelings. You would have learned that down, because we're just little mirrors of our parents. When we're little, we have these mirror neurons in our brain, and we just mirror our parents. So these are learned behaviors, so what we're doing on the journey is unlearning, but relearning, new ways, or kind of like, keeping what we want to keep and discarding and bringing in new elements. So teaching your daughter, putting words to emotion states, feeling states is really powerful for children. Maxine's a primary school teacher, and I don't know how she does it with 26 8-year-olds. But, she's amazing at kind of like sharing with them about their feeling states. And I think that's, again, part of the journey, when we can learn, like, to teach our own children how to put words to feelings and provide some context behind what's going on, and allow them, within reason, to feel their feelings. That's incredibly powerful. And I remember reading once that depression, and this is just a very generalized term here, is suppressed anger. And it really got me thinking. It's like, that kind of makes sense, as if you're constantly told you're a bad person, you then disown that feeling and emotion and you shove it down, don't you? You know, it's like, how do you express that? But how powerful, fantastic, Esra, that you are sharing this wisdom with your daughter. A huge difference for generations to come, because there's so many people, and some people are, you know, anger is a very funny thing, rage, anger, fury. And I think in the Embracing Emotions program, you love the kaleidoscope of emotions from memory, because you see there's like 108 different emotions, 108.
You're not aware of that. There is much feelings available.
But I know in my journey, I didn't know what I was feeling half the time. And what I didn't like feeling, I disowned and I shoved down, or I became a workaholic, or I put it out on other people, as in like I tried to think of their needs because I didn't know what mine were, because I wasn't able to put words to mine. So that's part of the journey, isn't it? Just that's where the throat was coming from, was like, you had this voice, but you didn't know, it was okay to express it. And then when you had feelings that you were uncomfortable with, it was like, I don't want to have those feelings. So it's lovely to hear that journaling has been a really instrumental part.
Yes.
You know, and how did you find the meditation and things?
Yeah, meditation. I mean, I've been doing yoga and meditation in the last couple of years. And I was mostly doing in the mornings because that was the easy part. But though I was never satisfied with my meditation skills, because I was thinking that I am meditating, but not much changing in my life. So there's always kind of, am I doing right? Why it's not my life is changing? Because I love reading these miracle, the stories, the people life changed fully. Yeah. Obviously, you taught us, and I'm so, everything I think I learned, it was a relief for me, because it's like you want to do something good for you. But then, you push yourself to do the best, but then, you lose the point actually. So anyways, the meditation, it was in my life, but what's changed, and it's a tremendous change for me, when you say to us, you have to do it in the afternoon time. And it makes sense for me, because really my energy, I'm a very morning person. I love my mornings. But when it comes to, the after lunch, and especially late afternoon, and just before the dinner time with the kids, for me, I am really down. When you said to us, because and I love that, the example you said, when your phone's charge finished, you are recharging, right? You can't use it. So you have to charge your body. So which really makes sense for me. We started with 10 minutes and I was so okay with the 10 minutes. For me, it's like easily doable. And then you said 20 minutes. I said, okay, I can push for 20 minutes. When you said 30 minutes, I said, no way. I mean, in the afternoon, the kids will be at home, and me taking 30 minutes of time and lying down. And also for me, I am a quiet doer. All the time I'm planning or doing something, and I was quite multitasking, so I'm trying to really slow down myself. But lying down for 30 minutes, I said impossible. But I am a quite hardworking student, so whatever I've been told, I want to try. So I started, I think for a couple of weeks, I only managed to do 20 minutes. Yeah. Then I raised up, okay, because this is another good thing, be part of the program, because when you read something, maybe it's on you. You can do it or you don't do it, or you do it for a month and you stop. But when you're in the program, so every week, your Maxine is asking me, how is your meditation? Did you feel? Did you do it? So I feel kind of, I have to do it. And now once I got my routine for the 30 minutes, and I think in the last 6 months, there's maybe only few days I didn't do it. I did it, but maybe, the shorter version, because if we were out for, if there's an event outside, but there's very, the few number of, and then every time, and I put my sign on the door, because in the beginning, the kids were just knocking the door, mommy, what is that? I said, don't interrupt. It took me some time to able to teach the family also, and that is my 30 minutes. And then really in that, I had my 30 minutes every day, and they learned I have two kids, 12 and 7. They learned that when they see the sign, they don't knock anymore. And then at the end of that half an hour, I feel like I am ready now to the next part of the day, which was the most, for me, the challenging part. it's incredible. And this also showed me nothing is impossible. I mean, when you want something, if you want to learn, if you want something to implement in your life, even if it's totally opposite what you are doing today, if you want it, it's happening. And then you see the difference, what creates on you. Yes, I take that 30 minutes. And you showed us, the really different resources also, the different type of meditation, different type of music, bilateral music. So I tried all, and I like trying different things, and I have my favorite ones. So it depends on my mood on that day.
Yeah.
Sometimes I choose, I'm saying, okay, I need that one for now. So again, it is doing it in the afternoon, doing it a longer time. It's really, for me, my energy, because when I am tired, my tolerance is getting lower. And then if I raise my voice, then I get upset with me. So it is all, it's linked to each other. But it is incredible.
It's funny, all the little things, isn't it? They're just tiny, wincy little things, but and it's fantastic that you from 10 minutes to 20 minutes, and that there's always a struggle with everyone from that 20 to 30. But again, full credit to you. You really allowed yourself to hear your parts, work with them, and this is where the program is so supportive, isn't it? Because it's like being reassured. Hey, this is normal. This is okay. So rather than you beating yourself up and saying, I'm a failure. Why can't I do this? I should be doing this already. It's never going to work for me. You slowly but surely, with the support. And then, of course, how did your body feel when you were taking that?
This is a full relaxation, Wendy. It is, you just lie down, and then whatever you choose to, either it's a guided meditation, or generally I like musics rather than the guided meditation. But I feel when I get up from the bed after the meditation, I really feel like I'm recharged again. I'm my body rested. And this is another thing, this is my routine, the bit like generally 2:30, 3 p.m. I do this meditation. But I also learn, if my body is tired, I have to lie down. I have to get rested for, even if it's the 5 minutes times, because before I was kind of a person, if I have a to-do list, I have to do it. I have to finish it, everything. This is not the other way. But now I realize, and it's so incredibly, I feel it in my body. And then if I don't allow that 5, 10, whatever the resting, then immediately I see my reactions, because it affects my thoughts, feelings, everything. Then I'm saying, no, stop here right now, go to your room. But this is something, again, I learned, throughout the program, because before I will really, really push my limits until...
That was the perfectionist and the pusher. The relentless perfectionist pusher and driver, which we all have. But what I was hearing there is your inner parent. And I love that. You're having a dialogue, an inner dialogue with yourself, and your inner parent. I could hear your inner parent as you were talking there. Whereas before, that inner parent, wasn't able to be heard, wasn't visible, he wasn't present. So we just kept pushing and pushing and pushing and pushing, and just exhausting ourselves, like that endless to-do list, and chastising ourselves, which is never quite enough. But now I'm hearing that you have that inner parent.
Yeah, I mean, this is another discovery. Again, I never heard about these terms, the parts. And when you first explained us, do you have this child, you have this teenage part, rebellious, you have the wise parenting. And Maxine remembers, I'm sure, so well, when I learned these pusher, the critical, the perfectionist, and accepting all your parts and loving them. And also having that dialogue during your journaling, because I had lots of discussions going on, especially with my child and the adult part. And my adult part comes so, so kind, so compassionate, so wise. When I'm having difficulty, the decisions, for me, it's quite difficult to make, the difficult decisions in the life, certain milestones. I was really suffered all my life. But when it's, for example, if something happens like that, and I'm journaling, and then I'm just, my child part tells she's scared or what she's, the concern. And that's why always my loving parenting part comes down and tells the things and suits me. And for me, in the beginning, I mean, I like the concept since you told us, but living with it, and when you have this experience, it is incredible. And it's so, I never heard these terms before. I never experienced before, but it is again so powerful. And I know that always in me, somebody, this parenting part will suit me or will support me or will, the kind of encourage me. And knowing that, again, I think another thing really gives the power to you. So yeah, it is everything I learned, I love it. But these parts is a totally new subject to me, and it's a great help.
Yeah, and again, it's lovely hearing you talk like that, because I hear the strength and the power you have from having this knowledge. And it is a weird concept to start with, but it kind of makes sense. When we start to kind of go, well, of course, because you can be in different relationships with people, and you find yourself acting differently or behaving differently, and it kind of makes sense. Or you can have these, as you say, the driver, the perfectionist, the pusher, the people pleaser. You kind of know these parts exist, but not but when you understand the parts, you understand the energy that's behind them, and they have different energies, and becoming the observer of these parts, that's the key. That's the biggest challenge, I think. Well, it was for me, of just observing and not casting judgment on various parts. But actually, I loved parts of me. All my parts loved the parts part. It really made sense to me. I'd been to see various people, and they would say different things. I'm like, no, that just doesn't sit well with me. But the parts kind of made sense. Of course, we're that oxymoron. We're very simple as humans, but we're also very complex. And when you get into the psyche and the deep psychological influences we've had since a child, we have. I love the analogy of, like, the observer is like the driver of our bus. And then we have all these different ages and stages and parts of us in the seats behind us. And that just always made so much sense to me. So I think in the journey to trying to understand what's going on deep down in the pelvis, we need to understand what's going on deep down in our subconscious, so that we can allow the body to do what it needs to do. And even as you were talking about your list, oh my goodness, I relate so well. I feel exhausted thinking about myself all those years ago. Like, I was relentless with myself, pushing. And of course, I think what you learned too was we don't want rid of these parts.
Exactly.
We're not wanting rid of them. And that's key. Is we just need to kind of renegotiate the terms of their
for example, that pusher part. Sometimes when I found the perfectionist, when I found myself in a situation, and when I realized I was just don't like that part, I was just saying, don't do this again. What are you doing this? But now I'm saying, okay, dear critical part. I mean, right now, I don't want to hear you anymore. I think you said enough. I will handle it in this way. But it's not me. It is part of me, but it's not representing whole Esra, So knowing this, again, it's a relief.
It's just widening our capacity to even approach things. One of my other clients was saying the other day, she does Airbnb and rents out one of her rooms, and she hadn't wanted to do it for a while, but obviously COVID's over, so she started doing it again. And then somebody had messaged saying, oh, could they leave their luggage at the end of the stay? And she'd done it with someone before, and they'd been really rude and written a horrible review. And of course, she'd had her fingers burnt, so she's like, oh, not wanting to do it again. But she said she heard that part. And then she heard the part that the people pleasing part, like, oh, it'd be so nice to be able to help them out and all that stuff. And then she heard her parent part go, well, how's about we give them the name of give them a link to the left luggage depot that's at the train station where they're about to get off. And that is you helping them, but that's you also listening to the other part. And when she shared that, I was like, that's genius, because that is that's a classic example of sitting around the table with the parts, hearing the different energies.
Yeah, what is the best for everybody.
Yeah. What's it? And I think for us as women, the type of women that we are, we grew up just trying to give everything out and please all the time. And then, of course, we would feel angry and resentful, but then feel guilty and ashamed to have those feelings, so they'd get shoved down. Exactly. So by addressing the parts, we allow like that dialogue to have. And it seems a really simple dialogue, but to be able to kind of, for our more vulnerable parts and more sensitive parts, to hear, oh, I'm not going to keep someone's luggage again, to, oh no, but I really want them to have a great time, to, oh, how do we do it in the middle? But allowing that dialogue, you know, it was amazing to hear her talk like that.
I mean, sorting the problems, again, when you are making a decision, when you are, you know, dealing with these toxic people around you, which if it's in the family, you need to. So that dialogue through journaling really helping me a lot to find the solution, because again, you listen all the parts and then you are making a decision, listening all the parts, thinking that, and then the final result, you are comfortable with it. It's not just your, you know, the pleasing part, or it's not just for your pusher part. It is discussed again, all of you, and then this is final. You know,
but of course, I think what I think you really got near the end is our parts are created, like the very strong parts are created for protection, for our very vulnerable parts, and that's quite an emotional journey. When we kind of, I can even still feel emotion there. You know, I think of how harsh every woman is on themselves when they start. Yeah. But there's that little wisdom part that we're trying to pull out more to be heard, so that they recognize the origins. You know, there's obviously, you know, things have been set up at a young age. And how was that for you to kind of learn that?
Yeah, I mean, this is again an enlightening point. You know, there are, you know, for me, it was difficult even, you know, when we do the exercise to identify our beliefs. I had quite difficulty to write about my beliefs. I wasn't, you know, or if I write something, I wasn't really aware of, is it me or you know, my parents or as a friend. But then, you know, when you do these exercises and when we do all these talks, I realized that, the certain things I believe today, it's totally not me, or it's totally, you know, some of them I don't even remember where I get it, but it sits in here, and I don't need them. I'm not using them, but they are sitting there and they are blocking me. And realizing that, and able to, you know, when I say, okay, I mean, I'm not believing this anymore, and I just want to let this go. And when you said that, then those, you know, the limitations on your way, one by one, it is disappear. But it is it's a whole different, you know, the kind of an area a person needs to look at, you know, which beliefs or which are the things which are your truth for now. And then some of them, again, maybe it was like this in the past, but it's changed because we are growing, we are changing. And the people around you, especially, you know, in the family, if they think that like how it's in the past, but if you are here differently, then there is a clash, and this makes, you know, the problems. But right now, I'm just, you know, I feel more brave to say, you know, to the other person, also say that I'm not like that anymore, or this is not me anymore, or I don't want to do this anymore. So
how does that feel? How does that feel?
I mean, that is like feeling free.
I'm just going to say how liberating. I was feeling it as you're saying it. I'm like, all I kept thinking is, oh, imagine how your body was holding all of that in before. So now that you're allowing that to have that awareness in your journaling and be aware, and then be okay because of the beliefs and the parts, hearing everything, you can then actually step into Esra's light, not somebody else's projection of how you should.
This is also, you know, that brings us to today, you know, because this past, you know, what happened in the past, or, you know, the past list, everything, it's like, you know, it's attached to us, and things happening here, but because you are so attached, you can't move forward. But if you can leave this, you know, behind you, then it's a totally, you know, the free road you can drive and enjoy. And it is, but discovering that is, it was quite enlightening. And still, you know, I mean, there are, you know, obviously we did many exercises during the program, but there are things I want to focus on more. And this is one of them, you know, and this is like ongoing. So you are kind of, when you open your, you know, the eyes, then on the way you are saying, oh, I wasn't aware of that.
Yeah.
Belief is sitting there. Okay, let's clean this one. Or, this is, I think there is no end on this. It's just on the journey. You will just, discover the things. But then if it's not your truth anymore, then you just, you need to let it go to feel more free and to move forward into the future.
I love that you said it's not your truth anymore, because there's something about truth is light and there's something about lies that are heavy. And I think that's really beautiful what you said there. We grow up and we don't even know to question. We don't even know what our feelings, thoughts, beliefs are, because we're just evolving. We're just surviving. By the time women reach out to me, by the time I started my journey, I was on my way out, and women are just like crawling through. So they know that they've got that spirit saying there has to be another way, but it's like, where do you begin? And this is why it's so important to start slowly. Slowly and safely, and have the support, because it's an emotional journey, isn't it? It's such an emotional journey. And because we've been so scared of our emotions, it's like we do sometimes need that external to say, I believe in you. You've got this. Your body always wants to heal. It's just a matter of when, not if, but when. And this is why we're unpacking all this. Because I was reading the other day, I think it was Gabor Mate in his book, When the Body Says No. And he says it's such a shame, because the medical field, I think it was Descartes in the 1600s again, he separated. The church said, we will take the mind and you take the body. He was a physician at the time. And since then, the medical field don't really understand the brain and body connection. And what I didn't like was I was having people saying, oh, it's just all in your head. It's just all in your mind. We've done everything. We can't, they literally said, we can't do anything else for you. And I was like, oh. And then it's like insinuating that I was a hypochondriac and making it all up. But what I didn't know was all that was going on. And that's why it was such a challenge to unpick, because a lot of it was subconscious, but directly connected to the body. And it makes sense, doesn't it? That the body would go, right, I'm going to have to give you signs and symptoms, because you're not listening to, you've not dealt with this, and you're trying to keep the lid on that. And there's this person that's really toxic and all this kind of stuff. And sometimes you can't see the wood for the trees, as they say, and it's quite overwhelming if you try to do that on your own. Yeah.
And Wendy, this was another learning for me. I mean, I was sensing this, but now through with it, I feel that really all the diseases is happening because of the emotions, or because of the past, because of the bringings. And obviously, everybody wants a quick fix. Even, my journey started. The first question I asked Christina, okay, which supplements I need to start?
But that's completely natural. That's completely, I think a lot of women go to that because it feels like, give me a supplement and I'll be fixed.
Immediately start something doing it. But this is what I love the program, when you explained us these 5 Ps, it is for me, from the beginning makes a lot of sense, what we eat, obviously what we use, what is our environment. But I remember, very vividly you were saying, but the most importantly, your past and the people around you. And without solving the issues around the people and the past, really, I can eat the healthiest food. I can take all the supplements, all the magical, the pills. But it will not happen, and it is a huge area. But for me, when I know the roots, when I know where to go, when is the strategy, I can do everything. But if you don't know it, if you just know the little, changing the diet, okay, it will not help with any of your diseases. Yeah. But if a disease is making me sick, and then if I can handle my stress or my emotions better, then I should be able to get better, right? This is the logic. It will work from the backwards. So for me is now, obviously, again, this is a journey. This is a healing process. It's taking time. Sometimes I feel, the impatient, but then I'm just reminding myself, this means...
I know you're going to be coming back in a couple of months. You're going to be... Because look at Nadja. I mean, I had to say, I think you emailed Nadja, and Nadja came on, and she was like, oh, I benefited so much in so many ways from the program. My cysts are being a bit pesky, and cysts are pesky because there's other emotional work to be done. But then she came back, and then she's like,
You were right. They've gone, I'm like, if I can get rid of 8 cysts, then I know that you're, and of course it just takes time because there's so many other wee things that are being healed and stuff. I think there was another condition, wasn't there, that
I mean, I should mention here, actually, this is quite big. I mean, obviously, what happened during this journey? Okay, I started the journey because of the cysts, and the cysts again. It's not, it didn't.
I think they got smaller. Some of them, hadn't they?
Just tiny bit, and also one of them burst out.
Yes.
But it is like, but they didn't grow because the doctor told me you have to go on operation immediately. I have another ultrasound, at the end of the June, so we will see. But my current doctor is saying, at the moment, there is no any risk. We will follow up and see, and she's supporting me. Okay, I forgot what we were talking about.
But was it other conditions that?
Oh yes. So what changed in this is the reality defects. My ferritin level in the family. We are always on the border. My mother also same, and my son also same. When I read down the test for the ferritin after a few months, we were in the program. It came double. And it's within the range. But in my life, I'm 44 years old. My ferritin level never, ever at this level. So this means that either what am I eating or I started to use iron cast pan. So I don't know what helped, but I'm not taking any iron supplement or anything. So this is number one. And the other big thing is I had a mild, 2 years ago, I had a mild, the diagnosis, mild Sjogren's syndrome. It's an autoimmune disease. It was a mild, so I didn't use any medication, but it was showing on the test, and the doctor asked me to check every year. And this year, when I went again, and they are checking so many different things, and it came negative. But I had that 2 years back to back, my test showed. And then this year, the test came negative, and my doctor said, okay, what is this? Because I feel I believe in especially in the autoimmune diseases, the eating style, and obviously the stress is the bigger triggers. And this is a big proof. Yeah. And even doctor said, this can happen. And because I didn't know what to feel, because they are telling you have this condition, and now you are telling me no. And she said to me, forget about it. Right now, you have no condition. Just continue whatever you are doing. And this is a kind of proof to me, whatever we are doing here, there is a result. So that gives me the big kind of the encouragement. Eventually, I will see this, the healing for my cysts also. So,
but there's been lots of other changes. Your periods got better, and you're shorter and lighter, and you had more energy. And all that
my sleeper. I was a very light sleeper, and this is me. This is always like this. And you were like, and I was trying to, always asking, can I take magnesium? Do you think should I take vitamin D? But you were just telling me before taking anything, to just, to do calming stuff, take more sunlight, to go out more, every day, every morning I wake up quite early for journaling. Then I watch the sunrise outside. We are living in Dubai, so we are quite lucky. The 8-9 months we can be outside. And in the last 1 month, I'm going to bed at 10 p.m. I need to wake up around 5:30 to journal before the kids, they wake up. So this gives me around 7, maybe a little bit more than 7 hours. But then I have a full 7 hours. And then in the mornings, I'm feeling rested. And, for me, this is huge. That's because huge. I always had the broken sleep. Mm-hmm. And it was really difficult for me. Even when they tell me, are you having enough sleep? It was giving me kind of a stress because I wasn't, and I want to have it, but I couldn't, and I don't know how. I mean, I was trying different things, but again, it's not just one thing fixed the issue, but all of these things, being in nature more, being all this relaxation, you
loved your self-days, didn't you? That was another challenge.
Wendy. I'm really doing it, and it is so. Actually, I should tell you, one of my friends having a bit hard time at the moment. She just stopped by in my door, but she's a kind of very pusher person. Mm-hmm. And she just came to my house to just ask something. And then we were just talking about it. I said, I went to this nicest cafe I have ever seen. I had a great, very healthy food, and I stayed there because it was quite green. I said, and she said to me, "This is one of your homeworks from the program, right?" I said, "Yes, it was the program homework, but now it's in my part of my life on my Fridays." And this is something I think took me the latest to able to implement, because I was okay with, the half an hour, 1 hour breaks. I always did, but 2 hours. And then, you were saying, you count the 2 hours after you reach the point. So this gives you kind of 3 hours. And I was I wanted, but I was always juggling with the time, with the house, with the, the responsibilities. But once again, if it's in your routine, and then I really enjoy the food I'm eating. I really enjoyed the book I read on that day. And it was, the nicest, really, the cafe I discovered. Fantastic. And I'm trying to also, the kind of not doing the same things, trying different things. I'm saying, okay, what to do next week? So it's just, you're a friend with yourself.
And you're going to expand on that. You're going to go for a day. And a weekend, and then maybe a week. So exactly, but it's so lovely to hear you talk in those terms, because I know
this is
self-date for me was a huge challenge. I was like chastising myself. I've got so many things to do. You don't have time to do this. And then even just hearing you say you love the food, you love the book you're reading, you love the environment. Imagine how amazing your body feels.
Yeah, exactly.
But
this is, I should say, if I read this, in the book, let's say, if your book, I don't know if you were mentioning about the self-dates there, but you just read it because you don't know what you feel, how you feel, or what is the benefit. So this is the good part of the program. I mean, in the program, when you ask me every week, did you do your self-dates? What did you do your self-dates? So you feel kind of, it's not just feeling responsible, but then I understand. I'm saying, okay, I think I really need to do, because Wendy is telling me and reminding me every week, there should be a reason behind it.
Because it's so important, and it almost feels so frivolous and lazy to go and do something like that to our strong, dominant parts. But actually, your inner child and your creative child and your playful child and all these other magical parts, like especially the magical child that, has got a great imagination, and, to take yourself out on a date is quite and it's a really challenging thing to do. Everybody struggles.
And I was thinking that I even told you, I think that, I love, the going for doing something with one of my very close girlfriends. That is for me, the more joyful, more fun. I was thinking, okay, I can't really understand what is the point, but you were just telling me that, but this will give you the space to connect yourself, because I love hearing this inner voice. I love it, but you were reminding me, but you need a kind of, the connection
environment. You need the right environment, and sometimes you have to take yourself out of your current environment into a playful one or a joyful one, or one that and it's different for everybody to actually, as you say, connect with that inner. So how did you find the educational content? Because there's all these master classes or
this is I was hungry of every every information, and I should start. I love the program is the weekly feed. So every week we received a video and related to some documents to read or videos to watch, and seeing you the talking on different subjects every week. For me, I was really excited for every week to listen those informations, and every time after watching, I made some notes, and I have a kind of a small notebook right now. What we learned. Obviously, what is the good thing? Okay, we are doing certain things. We are saying, okay, eat healthy. Okay, don't eat wheat. Don't eat soy. Okay, why? You want to know that why to. Because these are not, all the changes can happen, but when you look at it, you need to change your food, you need to change your products, you need to change, your interaction with the phone and the TV and then the people. So there is quite many, the items actually. So it's easily you can be getting intimidated, but with the program, everything was step by step. First, we look at the produce, then we look at the product. So it gives us a kind of levels, the steps to move forward, and then knowing the whys. Again, I'm a quite healthy person. I was thinking that, but I was a cheese lover, for example. Okay. And I was hearing that, the cheese or milk don't give, I always, after the kids born, at least, we were always eating organic food, but I learned through your program. I didn't know that why we are not drinking milk, because the milk has lots of hormones and antibiotic on it. So do I really, I love cheese, but do I want to get all that hormone and the antibiotic, so if somebody, tells me that, okay, don't eat cheese anymore, then I was it was difficult for me to accept, because this is something I love and I really enjoy. But knowing the reason then tells me, okay, I don't want to do that. Okay, occasionally I can eat goat cheese. It is like I have something to replace also. So that information gives you the justification and to convince yourself. And the tremendous information, the why we are doing the things or why we are not doing the things or why we should be, the careful. It was... lots of
I love your reaction. You're like, oh yeah, I used to love when the emails come in and video, because that was really important to a part of me too. Like, I needed to understand the why. And when you said at the very beginning of this call, like, you had lots of questions, I love women that have lots of questions, because it's so important. I think we perhaps all grew up not comfortable in asking questions or not being okay to ask questions. And I think it's important that when you do understand the why, then if there's reluctant parts of you that are reluctant to make changes or feel a bit sad or frustrated or resistant, when you understand the science behind it, then you go, oh, well, that makes so much sense then.
Yeah. And also, the group calls, I think this was one of my favorites also, because again, I had lots of questions, and every week I think I had 4 or 5. And for me also, once you said why we feel anxious, you feel anxious because you have lack of information. When you get the information, then you know it, and then that anxious feeling is disappear. For me, it was exactly when I get the answers for my questions, then it gives me oh, okay, that's fine. So there is nothing, making me worried, but this is something you cannot search on the internet, or you can't, find in the books. You need a person to ask, because, it is, anything, but you can able to ask, and that person, because she's gone through everything, so the answer she gives to you, it satisfies you. For me, having that, it was really a big relief for me to able to ask anything, that comes to my mind. Then it clears me, and then I am okay to, whatever needs.
You get that reassurance that you need.
Yes, reassurance. Definitely.
That spiraling and becoming more anxiety producing. And I think as well, because, there's a relationship that's been built as well. Not only do you know that I've been where you've been, so I understand, and this is where I'm at, I'm just a couple of steps up the road from you, but you know that I know you as well, because that's the difference too, because I think it's the personalization is important.
And also it is this journey, again, you were always telling us there will be good days, there will be bad days. And, when you had that bad days, having the team supporting you, when I also mentioned, when my cyst burst, this is, I think, good to know from the other people. Since the beginning, I have diagnosed. The first thing the doctor told me, you need to take an operation. And the second thing, if you feel pain, this means that your cyst is burst, you have to go to emergency. So it was like, since the beginning, I was so worried about if my cyst burst. Even I asked you questions, okay, what happens, what is it? So, and eventually it happened. Maybe I called it, I don't know. But then what happened, during that time, first of all, because I asked the questions to you, and I remember you told me that you will not die for, cyst burst. So this was in my head. So I will be fine. And I didn't even, it was a crucial pain. I have never had that kind of pain. So it's not, I will not say it was easy, but I have the reassurance this will not, this is not the end of the world, the first thing. Yeah. And the second thing, when it happened, I wrote to Christina, because I had a doctor appointment already booked months back for after 2 days. And when I talked about it, you know, the Christina reassured me, maybe this is not, you know, a cyst burst, because it was crucial, but I was managing able to the pain. But then, you know, on that night, I had a call with Maxine. So though I was in, you know, the pain, talking to her, and she's listening to me, and she's kind of, you know, feeling my pain and trying to kind of comfort me. And I remember the next day, you know, the Christina wrote me, Wendy wants to talk to you because you wanted to support me. This was just not, you know, unplanned, but having all this support helped me a lot. And at the end of the, you know, it was really a cyst burst. But when I see my doctor, and I really, you know, my current doctor is a really calm person, and she will just say, look, I mean, okay, I understand that you had this pain, but from the other side, one of them is gone and naturally gone. So, you know, this is always a way to look at it, right?
Silver lining, yes.
Yeah, but I you know what I'm trying to say, knowing that people cares you and supports you and they listen you, it's a tremendous, I can't even, you know, find the word to say that support, and somebody is telling you, you will get over this. And every time, you know, you told us, you know, and the same thing, Maxine, you got this, you will do this. And I feel it's not just the word you are saying, you know, I feel the feeling, and then feeling that just gives me the strength. But you can't do this, you know, the book itself, I think, gives you lots of things to start with. But if you really want to sort it out this with naturally, I think, you know, the joining the program, and it's not just for endometriosis. Again, you know, we talked all the different aspects. This is a lifetime skills I learned. Whatever things happens in the future, I feel like I have the tools, and having that tools and strategy for me, I'm almost, you know, I can manage everything. But if I lost my way, and if I don't know what to do, which was in the beginning, then it is a kind of, then you feel so, you know, the kind of, you feel so weak.
Well, you don't know your strength. Now you have a tool bag. Exactly. You have a tool bag of tools in which you can use, and you've already had evidence because of your journaling. You can go back and reassure yourself of your strength now, you know, because not only of the journey that you've been on, because that's really good neurofeedback, biofeedback of what is possible, and the tool bag as well, so that no matter what happens in your life, and this is just the beginning. And I think I remember at one point you were a bit like, oh my goodness, and I'm like, I have so much faith in you. And I get goosebumps. There's so many beautiful women like yourself come through, and they've just gone on to bigger and greater and more fantastic things. This is just the beginning of the journey, so that you, with your tool bag, you know, and you will always be interested to hear how you're getting on. And there's other things I've got planned up ahead to help support in other ways. But I know you'll handle anything and everything, because you have the power. You've always had the power. What was it, Leonardo da Vinci who was it that created the statue of David out of marble? And he said, David was always in the marble. I just needed to chip away the excess to get to the David. And that's like yourself. You were always there. That strength was always there. It was just shrouded in kind of other people's beliefs, other people's projections, you know, past different things that had been put upon you, and allowing you the safe passage, if you like, and the support to step into your light. I have abject faith in you.
Yeah, I mean, this is again a dream. I mean, since I read the book, I was kind of saying, okay, I will go through this, and I'd love to, you know, to have a podcast for Wendy. So this was the first dream. And then when the programs, you know, obviously going on, I achieve lots of things, but there are things I want to achieve more. Obviously, I want to put all of this into remission. I remember quite well when it's close to the end of the program, I was saying, I felt a bit, you know, to feel like failed. I really hope that, you know, at the end of the 6 months, I would be, you know, to really get rid of all this thing. And then you were just telling me, look, everybody is different. I mean, some people takes time, but it will happen. It's not just, you know, the if, it's just, you know, the when. So I really, you know, I believe, but I also hope that I want to come again, and because I have
I know you will.
Then I
know.
I'm going to put, another report next to it on the, on your website, saying that, look, all the cyst is gone. There is nothing left. So this is, I feel, I really want to have that day, and then this will really kind of prove. Obviously, every testimonial I watched on your, I think I watched almost all of them, and most of them the women were crying, because it was like, I mean, I'm lucky. I mean, I diagnosed on last year and I didn't go any surgery, but seeing those women, how much they suffered, and after the program where they come from, it was like for every one of them, I felt here. And also, there was a couple of, the women, they have kind of, because they had the MRIs, before and after, but seeing that, then, because sometimes people want to see, even if you tell the story, they want to see kind of on the paper. Yeah. So I want to be really one of them, and to inspire other people, saying there is other ways. And it's amazingly, I mean, there are miracles. I mean, miracle is happening in the life.
Yeah.
And I hope I will come back, and then, we will share this news with
I know you will. I know you'll come back with your proof, because look at what's happened in your body already, and even emotionally. And I would say this to everyone, it takes at least 6 to 12 months, at least, because you are dealing with, look at all the emotional stuff that you've gone through. You've totally transformed your outlook of yourself and how to handle things. So that by default affects the physical. The emotional and the physical are intertwined. And until we learn how to deal with the thoughts, the feelings, the emotions, the day-to-day, take care of ourselves, to journal, meditate, go for self-day, all these little things, until hearing you talk, like, they're so integrated into your life. It's just a matter of when. But your body is the last place, if you like, especially deep down in the pelvis, to show up. But there's all these other things, from your bowel movements to, your skin, to your energy. There's all these other things that are happening whilst, everything else is working internally.
Exactly. Yeah. I mean, I am really, even, there are times, I don't know if it was in the 21-day challenge already, in the beginning, I said to my cysts, because I do a lot of visualizations, I said to them, I'm really thankful, because if the cyst didn't show, I will never able to be in that route. I was a generally healthy person, but these things that I learned through the program, if it didn't happen, then I will not be in this route. So I'm just, every day, when I was doing my visualization, I'm saying, dear sis, I am so thankful, but now please go, because I need a story also to inspire other people. So I need you to leave now, because I don't need you anymore. I'm really taking care of myself well. I know that I am kinder, to more compassionate, that I'm doing all these, the things for myself, and I will take care of myself until I die. So this is how I want to age. I want to age healthily, happily, funnily. So you can leave me. And I believe they will at the end.
Well, I think that's it. I think, it's like what Nadja was saying, is like, you've got to kind of look at all that's worked physically for you and working, and then look at all the emotional growth, which has been huge and is transformative by itself, isn't it? I always remember Nadja saying, I got so much from the programs on so many different levels. It's a bit disappointed about the cysts, but, I know that they'll come in time. And then, of course, she said, even if they didn't ever go, she got so much other physical things.
The same. And also I feel that, obviously, definitely I want them to go. But even if they stay, I learned a lot. I can't really, that's why I said, I'm thankful. I'm thankful they came into my body, and then they showed me all this, give me the chance to look at all these things from the beginning
perspective.
Yes, exactly.
You said it earlier, like, and reading other books from these amazing doctors who were maybe trained in mainstream and then expanded beyond, like Dr. Gabor Mate. You're right. You said it earlier about disease is dis-ease. So there's dis-ease in the subconscious. And our Western worlds don't look at the body that way. We just try and treat symptoms rather than actually get to the root causes. So the cysts represent some things there.
Exactly.
And whilst there's been all these other fantastic changes, it almost like you have to, and you talked about environment, you've set up the environment now for those cysts to disappear. Because you're taking such good care of yourself, because you value yourself, you listen to yourself, you put your sign up on the door and you have your 30 minutes and you recognize how your body responds. It's all these little things. And of course, our society doesn't talk about those little things, you know, and then you have the other extreme of people who are really wacky and woo-woo, and then we kind of distance ourselves from that nonsense because we're like, oh, that's not us. But actually, there's a lot of old wisdom, you know, ancestral wisdom in some of those tools. They're so basic, but they're so supportive, and they're a gateway to the root of why that disease has shown up. Because for other people, in Gabor Mate's book, he talks about multiple sclerosis and you know, cancers and all these different things. And you're right, all these things do originate probably from, you know, conditions and environments set up in a very young age and stage, you know, and that's what we're trying to, that's why it has to be very loving, the environment, because we're navigating our strong parts who are like, oh, we should be over this by now, just give me a supplement and I'll be fine, to kind of like, no, there's more going on here that we need to be very loving and address, so we get to the end result. This is why I have no symptoms, no pain, no conditions, nothing. I've never been so happy.
I asked, you know, I think at least 4-5 times during the, you know, the group calls, because I really love hearing this from you, because then it gives me the, you know, the to believe, to the faith, the hope. Yes,
I have to pinch myself. I literally have to pinch myself, because it's like, you know, and that's why there's a part of me that will never forget my journey. And this is why I do what I do, because, you know, and I have to respect my body, and I have to take care of myself, exactly as you said, because if I didn't, it would all come back. You know, if I returned to being a workaholic and I was harsh on myself and ate wheat and was around toxic people, all these things, of course, would impact my body. I was so ignorant and unaware of how so many factors affected the body. But moving forward for you, where you had the 5 poisons, we're going to be looking at the 5 powerful elements, and I'll be emailing you about that and in future, because I'm going to be running luxury retreats for just a handful of women and things as well, because I want more of that emotional depth and connection, you know, looked at in a way that, again, I've learned so much that if I can help you all fast track through that, you know, with the torch at the in the tunnel, then that's just amazing. But so how did you find Maxine? Because obviously you had one-to-one calls.
I mean, Maxine, she's so lovely. She's so kind. She's so compassionate. You know, when she witnessed a couple of my very down times, and she, you know, on the other side of the screen, I mean, I should say that, you know, I really have a big love to you, to Maxine and the Kristen. It is like, I don't know how that's possible without knowing these people in 6 months, they are part of your life. I feel like a part of the family. And she was, every time when we spoke with her, she was kind of reflecting, you know, rather than telling me to do things, she's asking the questions to me, and kind of me believing in myself and reassuring myself, what am I saying, what am I doing? And then every time, you know, after talking to her, I felt kind of, you know, the relief. And again, throughout the program, I didn't have to talk I was chatting with my friends, but with any of them, I didn't talk about my, you know, the condition, because I didn't need it. I get all the support from the team, and which I felt also more comfortable, because I don't want to, you know, to tell other people about my, you know, the sickness, my feelings all the time, you know, but having that, you know, with having able to chance somebody's listening to me with the understanding, with the, you know, the kindness, and reminding me the things I should do. I felt really, in the beginning, I didn't know what to expect. And I was thinking, what we will talk about every week? But we found things to talk every week. So there was no any week we said, oh, okay, we have nothing to talk. So it was, she's very lovely and very helpful.
Amazing. Well, I'm so glad. I think that's it. I think, was it you or maybe another student that said, so why do I need to speak to her every week? And I was like, well, it's not that you need to, but the support is there because it's such a transformative and emotional journey. It's the support that we all wish we'd had. And I think, and as you say, it's so important. And she's been trained and my coaches are trained to reflect back what they hear, because hearing someone is very different from speaking to someone. Most people have two mouths and one ear, and training people to really to deeply listen with their heart, listen with their, is like a body-based coaching, because I, want her to feel you, feel your body, feel your emotions, and then reflect back what she hears. And that's very powerful for us as women.
Yeah. So I'm really grateful. I mean, for every point of the program, I just, this feeling the grateful was all over the place. There is everything, the information, the support, experience, and I really, I feel that you created everything is so smart in the program, the weekly feedings, the information, all the details, all this, the teaching us small by small, you didn't push us, if you told us, 30 minutes meditation on the first week, will not happen, you have to go there, the really step by step. And even the days, if I said, I couldn't do the self-date this week, that's fine. Why, why you couldn't do it, how you can do it. So it's a kind of encouragement. It's not just, the dictating and saying you have to do it. That is really helping to build all the things in the life, because again, this is a lifetime thing. If I do this for 1 year and then if I stop, then obviously I will lose the benefits. So, but to able to continue, you need to really understand why you are doing that, what is the benefits. And when you see it, anyways, you want to do it. So yeah, I'm so grateful you really just, created this program, and then you are trying to really touch the other people's life. And it's really amazing. And it's really the big inspire for me.
Well, thank you so much. And I so appreciate you coming on and sharing. And what would you say to women? This will be going out on the podcast and on the YouTube channel, but what would you be saying to any woman who is considering, I think we're only going to be doing this like once or twice a year now, but applying to
I would just say, please do it. It is, it is one of the best thing I have ever done for myself in the life. It is so powerful, and without doing it, I can't, I think nobody can understand. And the first 21 days challenge and the emotions program, it was, I really wanted to do it, but financially we had to kind of, discuss within the family. But I can say that there is no money you can, how should I say, it works to every penny, because this is your life, it's amazingly the things you can learn through the program. There is no, the price next to it. And for me, if somebody has an endometriosis, without doing any hormone therapy, any operation, you have to try. There is no way. Without trying it, going to that route, I feel really kind of sorry for the people who had to do this. So briefly, it's please just do it, and just, they have that faith. You were always telling us that blind faith, but it is so important, that hope and faith. But I learned so many things, so I can't be more.
I was going to say, so what's your top 3 takeaways, do you think, from the program?
That is, journaling is number 1. That is my most favorite one. And self-dates, I would say, because it's a totally new thing for me, but I really understand that, the connection. And what else? There's so many. I think acceptance, the acceptance, everything, the parts, the feelings, what's happening around you. you have to accept it. But then after acceptance, everything really somehow finds the way, somehow finds the route. But that acceptance is really, is important. I can count so many, but these are the top.
Well, look, you have been an incredible student, and I know that we'll have you back with your pieces of paper showing what's going on. I know we will, because you've been such an amazing student and you've been so dedicated. And I actually pulled up your opening questionnaire. Just seeing all the different things that were going on inside your body before, and seeing where you are now, and remembering our early calls, and every month, seeing that your light getting brighter, and just you're stepping into your power and being okay to ask questions, and the changes starting happening in your body. But more importantly, it was the emotional changes that I really feel are the spiritual changes, which is what you're stepping into. You're on the pathway now. And I want to reiterate this as we finish here, that this is the beginning of your journey. This is just the beginning. And it gives me goosebumps, because I know this.
Same here. And this is, I'm remembering, because again, that down days will happen, the bad days will happen. But then I remind myself, this is a journey. This is not there's no
You're on the right path now. You weren't on a path before. You said a couple of times you were lost before because you didn't have your due north or your compass. You have your tool bag. You have your compass. You're on the right pathway. You know that. Sometimes you might feel sad, bad, down, despairing. But then you parent yourself, and you take the time to nurture, and you take the time to reflect, and you go and buy a hot chocolate and wrap yourself in a furry blanket, or go get an ice tea. You're kind to yourself, because it's that kindness. And I love that you said acceptance. That's our biggest challenge. That is the challenge on the journey, is self-acceptance, and knowing that our perfectionists we love, and our pushers we love, and a driver we love, and we don't want them to go anywhere, but we need them in balance with everything else, so that our bodies stay healthy and our emotions are, so we can keep surfing that wave.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Wendy. I will never, forget these days, and I will always remember with the love. And I'm so happy to, to meet you. And I really hope to join one of these retreats, because it would be amazing to meet you and the team, and the other women in person, and without knowing them, just through the testimonials, my heart goes all the women who has this condition and who's able to the naturally healing from this. It's incredible.
Oh, well, thank you so much. Now we're going to speak in a minute, so I'm going to pause this in a second. But Esra, thank you so much. You've been such a star.
Thank you, Wendy. Thank you.
Thanks for listening to Heal Endometriosis Naturally with WendyKLaidlaw. And I hope you enjoyed the show. Don't forget to subscribe, like, and rate us. If you're interested in learning more, you can download your top 5 jumpstart tips at healendometriosisnaturally.com and jump on the VIP email list. Remember to keep you number one, for the world needs a healthy you.